Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded, episode 39. I'm your host, Eric, with my main man, Ron. How are you?
How are you today, Eric?
Yeah, quick
Glad
to
to
jump
be
the
here.
gun. My producer, he wanted to go on. He's like, we got so much to cover that
Yeah,
let's jump in a little early today.
yeah, like literally, we're getting headlines as we're preparing for the
As we're
show.
preparing. So a lot to cover. We're going to start off with the leadoff story, and that was the AFC continues to be a whirlwind as the Miami Dolphins stunned the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday Night Football 22-10 last night. First off, do you think this is a sign of things to come for the Ravens? And then what do you think it means for the AFC playoff race?
Well, it just got more complicated. Just when you think you got a team that might take over, they come out and lay an egg, a big, fat egg against a bad, bad team.
Yeah. And so you think about a lot of strange losses the last couple of weeks, the Jets beating the Bengals and, all these teams, Dallas getting smoked. But it baffles me that the AFC, for some reason, no team wants to take over.
No.
And this was a prime opportunity for Baltimore to stay with Tennessee. And now they're in second. And honestly, as I looked at it, if the Chargers, Raiders, Bills, and Steelers win, they leapfrog and move basically them down to sixth.
Yeah.
That's what this loss could cost them, is ultimately at sixth.
Oh, and if you look at the schedule, that could very well happen.
Yeah. And then Pittsburgh can take over first place with the win this week. So Pittsburgh would be leading.
I predicted that, by the way. I said Pittsburgh would make the playoffs. I didn't say first, but
yeah,
they were in, and Baltimore was out for me.
Yeah, it's strange. And you mentioned it. We did the NFL preview midseason on Tuesday, and you mentioned it, the injuries, and you said Harbaugh, right, would have been your coach of the year if it ended today, just based on
gave him so much credit.
And now you're starting to see it, like they just don't have enough. They're hurting at the running back position. They're hurting in the secondary. You're asking Lamar Jackson to do way too much for your team.
And he showed it yesterday. He was horrible.
Yeah, he was frustrated.
That might have been the worst I've ever seen him play.
Yeah, so he was visibly frustrated on the sideline. I know he was yelling. The offensive line didn't really protect him well.
No,
they
didn't.
Yeah, there's some questions going on in Baltimore right now, and this loss honestly opened those doors wide. They're wide open now. You can't look at it and say, the Ravens are one of those top teams. If they can lose to a Dolphins team that clearly has one of the worst defenses in the league, offensively, their starting quarterback, Brissett, who's not very good, got hurt, and Tua, who hasn't been very good, came in, and he won the game for him.
It also gives you the blueprint on how to beat them.
Yeah, send the blitz. They said it. They were blitzing them. They were blitzing the corners, creating, frustrating them that way. Flores had a great game plan to stop Lamar, which is not easy to do. Right. It's Friday and I'm here. Snorlax, thanks for joining. Snorlax, didn't you have something special you wanted to show him?
Oh, Snorlax, look at this. This has a subscription written all over it.
Yeah, Snorlax, you subscribe. That's yours, buddy. Cap, thanks for joining. Huge upset for me yesterday watching my Ravens. Yes, and I would be as a Ravens fan, I would be so disappointed that my team couldn't perform. They should have beaten that team. There's no question about it.
Oh, of course.
And I'm not even so concerned about this one loss, but I think this is going to have a trickle-down effect.
Yeah, Cap Clark isn't very happy, apparently.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if the Ravens can bounce back. But from a playoff implication, this really hurts their chances. That was a win. The problem is these teams are so close now. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, look, it just got a jumbled mess.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at all these teams now that are within like a game, and it's not just, 2 or 3 teams. We're talking, the whole division with Baltimore and all of them.
It's a mess.
You're talking the Patriots. You're talking Buffalo.
Snorlax just
talking.
subscribed. Thank you, Snorlax.
Snorlax just subscribe. There we
So
go. Okay, Snorlax, make sure I will get your information after the show, and I will
Send that
send this
over
out
to
to
you.
you.
And Cap, we are not Ravens fans, but we cover all sports. So we'll cover the Ravens. We'll cover all sports. So just stay tuned. Keep watching us, man. Keep watching. Subscribe. I'm telling you right now, we fill these screens with everything we can. So to your point, I think, look, it's so congested right now, such a logjam, and Cap nailed it, right? They've got to play the Steelers twice, who are starting to come into their own. You lose those 2 games, you probably out of the playoffs. Honestly, they need to
most likely
really
be out of the playoffs. If they're going to lose both to Pittsburgh, they would be out of the playoffs, and vice versa. It works both ways.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
but Baltimore, they need to get their heads cleared, forget about what just happened, go back to the drawing board, start from scratch. This is where a lot of teams make mistakes. You go back to the fundamentals. You stop using those fundamentals properly, it'll take you a long way. The rest fills in itself. But if you just say, oh, well, we got to fix this, it's not going to work, because then you have the other things that are still going by the board. So if you go back and start working on the fundamentals of the game, that's how you fix the problems. You've got to go back to the beginning.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, we'll have to see if they can figure that out. Let's talk about the next man here that in the NFL. We're going to go through some NFL coverage now. Odell Beckham Jr. decided to take his talents to L.A., signed with the Los Angeles Rams. Does this move make sense for OBJ and also the Rams?
Well, both. I think both. Well, it definitely makes sense for OBJ, because if you want to play for a contender, I mean, you go to LA. I mean, that team is stacked right now, and they have as good a shot as anyone. Look, my concern.
Luna, thanks for joining.
My concern with all of this is, does he bring an A game with him and an A attitude with him? Because if it doesn't, it could literally bust up this whole team.
So I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. And I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. This was such a bad move.
What am I wrong?
OBJ should not have signed with the Rams. It's a horrible move for both of them. It's not a good fit. It's not a good fit.
I'm just saying, if he wants to win a championship, that's
so he's going for a ring, which is nothing's guaranteed. We know that.
But it's not going to make his stats get.
His stats are going to be horrible.
Year. Right.
Look, so far this season, he's had 17 receptions for 232 yards, no touchdowns. Cooper Kupp is the number 1 receiver on the Rams. 74 receptions, 1,019 yards, 10 touchdowns. He's been targeted 103 times. It's more than 10 times a game.
Yeah.
Robert Woods, 69 targets, 45 receptions, 4 touchdowns. Tyler Higbee, 45 targets, 35 receptions. Where's he fitting in this offense?
Don't forget Jefferson,
46 targets, 27 receptions. All these guys have touchdowns. They spread the ball around. This is a contract year for him.
Yeah.
It made no sense. Listen, as a homer, I was saying New England. And the only reason why I was saying New England, though, that was the only legitimate team that gave him an option to be the number 1 target and get balls thrown his way.
Oh, I agree with that.
Put up numbers.
Look, I only said it was good for him to win a championship and for LA to have that option, which damn well he's not getting the ball.
No. So this is what I'm saying.
He's a decoy.
But how's that benefit him?
It doesn't benefit him.
It doesn't benefit the Rams. They don't need decoys. They got one of the best offenses in the league.
Oh, I know they do.
They're one of the better teams.
And now they have another weapon.
Yeah, I just, to me, this was such a bad move for him. I don't get it. I don't understand the chasing of a ring thing, because nothing is guaranteed. You play these games, and then next week something happens, and
you're right. Nothing is guaranteed. Despite me saying LA Rams are going to win the Super Bowl, you still have to get through Arizona. You still have to get through Tom Brady. And we know what Tom Brady did to the Rams last time in the playoffs.
Yep. So again, it's I think you said it with the meme, right? They're bulking up to try to beat a 44-year-old quarterback who's done it.
Yeah,
10 times he's been to the Super Bowl and won 7 of them. The man knows how to win, regardless of what.
That's just crazy when you think about it. He's been to 10 Super Bowls. Like, that's what, 25% of history?
Yeah,
or 20%, something like that.
It's insane. It's roughly insane.
Like, that's craziness.
Let's talk about this story. Cam Newton has found his way back home by returning to the Carolina Panthers for the rest of the season. Do you think Cam will be able to help the Panthers?
I mean,
I know how you feel, and we're going to argue this one too.
Look, I'm not saying he can't help, but he can hurt. You know, I mean, if he's not ready, oh my! Like, I'm just looking.
Sam Donald's
Look, I'm not saying that.
So
look, but what worries me is he spent over a year with the Patriots and couldn't learn all the plays.
Yep. Completely different offense.
He's going to walk in off the street and start on Sunday?
No, he's not starting this week. They're starting. I don't remember the kid's name, but listen.
Look, I guarantee he gets in that game. I guarantee it.
Okay, but this is why it's a good fit. Do you know who has the second best defense in the NFL?
Okay.
That's the Carolina Panthers.
Yes.
You got Christian McCaffrey, who's starting to ease his way back into health, right?
Yeah.
You run the run options with Cam and McCaffrey. He's got DJ Moore on the outside if he really needs to throw the ball, which he doesn't do well. But they don't need him to do that well. Run the ball, let your defense control the clock, let your defense take over. Listen,
and I get it, but
he went 7-8 with the New England Patriots team that had far less talent than this Carolina Panthers team. Listen, I'm not a Cam Newton fan. I think
if I'm playing them, I'm putting 8 in the box and just stopping the run. You have one of those guys spy whoever you want, whether it's McCaffrey or Cam Newton. Personally, I don't think Cam Newton can run as well as he used to. So I'm putting a spy on McCaffrey and 8 men. Stop that run. Let him throw the ball because I guarantee he's going to throw at least 1 or 2 picks, and most likely he's going to turn the ball over a couple of times, and that is not going to be a winning football.
Right. I think if they control the clock and allow him, look, he rushed for almost 600 yards last season.
Yeah.
People knew what they were going to do with New England because he couldn't throw the ball, and yet he still ran for 600 yards.
Right. I don't know. But that's what I do. That's what I do if I'm a defense. Now, the schedule is going to dictate a lot of how they do. You know, I don't know what their schedule is. I didn't look at their schedule because, frankly, I don't think Carolina's going anywhere anytime soon.
No, neither do I. But I still think that this move's better than having Sam Donald as your.
Like, how many games have they played? They're
9 games, so they got 8 left.
They're 4-5, right?
Yep, they got 8 left.
So if they go 4-4, would be incredible.
Doesn't get them in the playoffs, but
it doesn't make the playoffs.
But I still think it's a better option than Sam Donald. I think he's going to do well.
Oh, well, I'm not saying that. Well,
I don't agree with the money that Carolina paid. I heard $10 million. Makes no sense to me. $10 million for Cam Newton. We were paying $3 million in New England,
and that's $10 million.
Expected to start. That's before they drafted. Yeah, and that was before they even drafted Mac Jones. So as your starter, they were like $3 million. That's what you get. So
right, and the point is, it's $10 million from now until the end of the season.
Yeah, it's some crazy.
So he would have made $20 million if he started game 1. That's just crazy.
I don't know. Let's talk about this story that just broke. John Gruden is suing the NFL and Roger Goodell after he feels they selectively leaked only his emails and forced him out of the head coaching job with the Raiders. Do you agree with John? Do you disagree with John? Do you think he has some merit with this story?
Look, he has.
Hold on 1 second. Cap's asking if you tune in, check out our previous show. We did an NFL mid-season. But our picks were I had the Rams and the Tennessee Titans, and Ron has Cleveland and the Rams as our 2 Super Bowls picks.
Yeah, I kept my original.
Yeah, I changed mine from the Chiefs to the Titans.
Yeah, I didn't change mine.
But check out, watch Rhode Island Broadcasting. If you subscribe to us, follow us. You can see those. Check it out. Great, man, Cap. So John Gruden, go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Look, he has a point. Like,
I feel he has
look, he's still a scumbag. Okay, he's still
all right.
a
But how many other scumbags were there, Ron?
Right, and this is what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, why am I taking the brunt of the league
Exactly
and being singled out when there's like, I don't know, maybe 30 to 40 more names on that list that should be out?
I'm sure there's more emails out there.
For him, it's worth suing because, first of all, he's going to sue. He's going to win because he has a gripe. So he will win, probably get settled, and he'll probably make, $10 to $15 million off the NFL. And that'll set him up for the rest of his life. More will come out about him, but everything will be coming out about everybody because it will go into the court system.
Yeah,
and
it's a dangerous game.
It's public.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game what he's playing, right? Because if there's more or worse on him, it looks bad for him as well. But I also feel like there's so much more with that Washington football team that never got released. And I'm telling you, Snyder had a part of it as the owner in Washington.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're protecting him and covering for him. And the fact that the NFL wouldn't release anymore is just an example of how they know that the fans and people would not understand what happened.
Gruden probably knows everybody that's involved.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
I'm sure he does.
And he's a whistleblower, so he's going to get protected. He probably won't even have any charges on him because of whistleblowing.
Yeah, he
just makes it
to
court.
What did he do?
Right,
he's calling them out now to say, "Hey, listen, look, I'm never going to get a job in the NFL again. I know that. If I'm John Gruden, I know I'm not getting a job in the NFL ever again.
Right."
What's it hurt me now to say, look, I'm going to go after you guys. If you think I'm going to just sit here and be the only one that's going to be held accountable for that behavior, I want everybody held accountable for it.
He's the scapegoat of
that's what it
30 plus others that are probably out there. And Dan Snyder has always been a scumbag anyway. So, you just look around the league, you can see, that little club.
Yeah, and it's just getting worse. So I hope, honestly, that this comes out and this is far worse.
I do, too. Because, look, if anything comes out of this, it will be the NFL has to change the top. It has to change what goes on.
Well, the funny thing is, you can't have the same as well, right? We said Goodell as well as in this lawsuit.
Oh yeah,
they could very well ask that he gets removed as the NFL commissioner. I mean, that'd be a far bigger story than anything else. Like if you think about the owners are protecting him as well, because that's what he's doing.
By the time Super Bowl comes, we're going to know a lot more. Because this lawsuit is going to be rolling. And if you don't think that the press is on this, they're going to be all over it, and they're going to dig, and something's coming out. It will come out probably maybe 3-4 weeks from now, a little bit at a time, and then it'll keep rolling, and it'll snowball and snowball. And by Super Bowl, they're going to be so worried about the media.
Yeah, they're going to be trying to hide stories, and
it'll overshadow the Super Bowl.
All right. Well, John Gruden, if you're out there, I know legally you can't talk about it, but if you want to come on a small itty-bitty show like Sports Unfolded and tell your side of the story, we'd love to hear you. Somebody get this out to John Gruden because we'd love to talk to John Gruden. That'd be phenomenal.
Yeah, maybe he's watching us on Twitter.
Maybe. Let's talk about the big matchup this week for the New England Patriots. We always cover the New England Patriots each Sunday, and we do their post game on every Sunday after the game as well. So this week, the 5-4 New England Patriots will face the 5-4 Cleveland Browns at home. This game will have early playoff implications that obviously could be the deciding factor on what team gets in, since you get to head-to-head if you have equal records. What do you think the keys are for the game for the New England Patriots?
Discipline and that offensive line. You cannot give Cleveland penalties. You can't give them free yards. You can't do any of that. You need to make sure you have somebody watching the big man.
Yeah. Myles Garrett's going to be, look, you got to focus on him on defense.
Yes.
But I will say this. Listen. No, go ahead.
I think they're going to go a lot of tight end packages. You have 2 tight ends in. One might go out for the pass. One will be strictly to block, to help block Garrett. And that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
He's going to be there just for that. Yep.
So I agree with you. Offensive line, they have to do something. Listen, Cleveland's not a very disciplined team. As I started to break down the numbers,
they're not.
64 penalties versus New England's 46. Control that aspect of the game. From a turnover standpoint, right? You've got to limit your turnovers in this game. Nick Chubb is already a scratch. He will not be playing this Sunday, right? So some of the keys that I looked at, you got to slow down the run, right? So Dearness, he did such a good job when he filled in last time. You want to make sure you kind of hold him back. They are very heavy pass to the tight ends. So Njoku and Hooper are their 2 leading receptions on the team. So those linebackers and safeties really have to play a key game on controlling that part of it. Listen, though, Cleveland's defense is very good. 3rd overall in total yards allowed, 9th against the pass, 3rd against the rush. There's not a lot of wiggle room here for New England, but I think you got to go pass heavy in this game. You're not going to be able to run the ball. You don't know who your running back's going to be for New England because there's obviously some injury concerns with Harris and Stevenson. We don't know their status yet for Sunday's game. That leaves J.J. Taylor and Bolden as your 2 running backs. I'm not feeling really confident about the run game. Mac Jones has to be able to throw this ball. The line has to protect him. They're not going to win this game unless the line protects well and they're able to establish some kind of passing game. That's my opinion.
Yeah, their running game is going to be a lot of screens to Bolden. You gotta think Bolden's going to play at least 2 downs, because you got to have something. And Taylor, look, he's fumbled a couple of times, and that makes people nervous, and it certainly doesn't help his case with Belichick.
Yeah.
So you're going to see Bolden probably on 2nd and 3rd down. And that's probably what I'm thinking.
Offensively, 25th in passing.
Yeah.
Cleveland. You've got an opportunity to look. If you can control that run game and you make Baker Mayfield have to beat you, you win this game.
Right.
Control the turnovers, make the passing game beat you.
Yep.
Slow down the run. I don't expect you to stop the run, but slow down the run enough. And then, to your point, offensive line has to protect Mac Jones, give him some time.
Yep.
This is going to be a very interesting game for New England because we all feel like they're on the upside. How they perform this week will be the key because then you'll know for real.
Oh, yeah. If the Patriots can come out on top of this one, they're sitting pretty.
This is a very tough matchup. It is. We can sit there
absolutely.
Look, they haven't played well at home, New England. Cleveland still has a lot of talent on that field, and we expected them to be better than they are. So, look, this is a game that could easily go not in your favor if you don't perform well.
Cleveland is, what's their record?
5-4. They're both 5-4.
So you're looking at the fact that if Cleveland loses this game, they go to 500, and now they find themselves way down the list on teams that are vying for the playoffs.
Yep.
And it's not going to get any easier on them because I believe they still have one against the Bengals.
Yeah, 2 against Pittsburgh.
2 against Pittsburgh and 1 against Baltimore. Do they have 1 against Baltimore?
I think so.
Or did they play twice?
I don't remember that one.
So, I mean, you got to think they're going to go 500 with what they have left in their own division.
And both ways, because New England still got Buffalo twice.
I know.
So, they need this win too.
But at least if the Patriots win, they're already ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Because they are supposed to lose this one.
Yeah.
On paper, they're supposed to lose.
So anybody that's out there right now, Cap, if you enjoy football talk, we do the Patriots post game right after the game, usually a half hour after the game. So tune in on Sunday around 4:30, and we'll be doing the Patriots post game as well and talking about the game itself. Let's talk about the Week 10 and who you. So with all the early upsets, are there any games of interest this week that you're looking for?
Look, this schedule is filled with good games.
Yeah, I got 5 of them.
Yeah, I went a little heavy and went 7, only because of that Falcons and Cowboys game is intriguing me. Now I think Cowboys are gonna run it all over them.
I have the same game, and it's just how does Dallas respond?
Right, that's what it is.
Thank you. We're doing well. Thank you for joining.
Because if Dallas loses this game to Atlanta,
the ceiling starts to fall, and they're at home. If they lose back-to-back home games,
yeah,
that beautiful stadium there in Dallas.
Jerry Jones will be
right. It's all coming down.
He'll be PO'd. So that's the only reason is more of the Cowboys if they bounce back.
Gotcha.
And I expect that. I expect them to. I don't think that game's going to be close, to be honest with you.
No, I don't either. But listen, Atlanta's surprised me at 4-4.
Yeah, they have.
You never know.
I mean,
you never know.
So
all right, one of my games now, Seattle Seahawks at Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers factor. We still don't even know if he's playing. Russell Wilson coming back. Does this spark the Seahawks to start to make a run? And if Aaron Rodgers is out and Jordan Love, 2 bad games in a row, now all of a sudden all the cards are in Aaron Rodgers' favor for them to either figure out how they're going to keep this man for the next few years, because that game very interesting to me.
Yeah, because and we talked about it when Love was starting last game. If he has to play another game, which I don't think so, I think Aaron Rodgers just received a fine.
He did, but they haven't cleared him from the COVID.
No, but
it's not official yet. I'm just saying. Most likely he's not.
But if he doesn't play, and I'm hoping he doesn't, because I want to see Love. I want to see Love play another game, because if he can get a win, that puts a little pressure on Aaron Rodgers, because now, we have Love. He can win us some games, and if it's against Seattle, that tops it all off. So it's a lot. It's a lot on the Green Bay Packers. They need Aaron Rodgers to play that game because I don't think they want to find out.
Yeah, and again, from a standpoint of, look, they're legitimate contenders. I know the NFC is extremely tough, but you don't want to lose ground either. They're still competing to try to get a 1 seed.
Yeah, and you need that. You need the number 1 seed.
And they beat Arizona. So, listen, if they tie the same record, they get the 1 seed. So, very interesting to see. What other game do you have?
Well, I have a bunch of them, but I have the Saints and the Titans.
Okay.
Titans, of course, without Henry, and Saints are 5-3, and we're gonna see what they're made of this week. I seriously don't think the Saints are that good. I know defensively they are, but there's something about that offense that just is not right.
Yeah, well, they're hurting. I mean, no Michael Thomas. Kamara's not going to play that game, so that's big. That's your top offensive weapon. And again, that is interesting now.
This
with those losses.
Yeah, but this ties in with the Atlanta game. If the Atlanta Falcons can somehow beat the Cowboys,
Yeah.
go to 5-4, and the Saints lose as expected, then they're 5-4, and then anything can happen in that situation because they're going to have to play each other.
All right, my other game, I have Kansas City Chiefs at the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes.
This game could ultimately bounce each team into first place.
Right.
A lot going on in that division. If the Chiefs win, right, they're back on track of where they need to be. But if they lose, this ultimately probably seals their faith, and they're not going to make the playoffs. The Chiefs, this is a must-win for the Chiefs. The Raiders, though, really, if they want to start to show that they're actually legitimate contenders in the AFC West, need to win this game.
Oh, absolutely.
Need to win this game. Only other ones that I had, I real quick, I did Detroit at Pittsburgh, and I just think because Pittsburgh, if they win, they move into first place. Find that an interesting. Do they have this hiccup like some of these other teams that should be able to beat a team and end up failing? We've seen a lot of that the last couple weeks. Is Pittsburgh going to kind of look past Detroit and end up slipping up? And then what about the Rams? So. What about the Rams at the 49ers?
Yeah, Rams and 49ers. 49ers lose, they're done.
All right, Cap, man. Take care. Thank you for joining. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, if the 49ers lose, they fall to 3-6 and they're done. Done. So and that ends them. I also had the Vikings and Chargers.
You're on that Vikings thing, man.
And again,
Vikings every week.
Well,
every week, Minnesota.
Because the way the Chargers have been playing up and down, they can be had.
Yeah.
And this is the Vikings are a team that desperately needs to win because they can't lose another one or they're done.
And the Chargers, though, think about it. Either Kansas City or the Raiders are going to win. If you want to stay even ground, you need to win that game.
Yes, and that's not an easy game.
No, it's great. Great call. Good games. Listen, if you like what we're doing, check us out. We're live every Friday night at 6 p.m. on Rhode Island Broadcasting. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, now Twitter as well live. So Rhode Island Broadcasting, Rhode Island _broadcasting. Like, follow, subscribe. We've got some bits out there. You guys have been great tonight. Follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports _Unfolded on Instagram. Win some prizes. You guys subscribe. We'll send out some of these great looking keychains to you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be sports. It can be, some gaming and stuff like that. Ron has a ton of them.
So whatever team, I have a Batman. I have Among Us. Pretty much anything.
That one's kind of cool. Little Mario the Bullet
Bill. And I even have this cool looking Punisher. So do a little subscription. That one's
awesome.
pretty neat. Mario, I have Sonic.
So subscribe. You guys can get some of that. Check us out on podcasts as well. Amazon, Anchor, Google, and Spotify. So a lot of different ways to watch, listen. Appreciate everybody that's been chiming in. We love to participate with our fans as well. You guys have been great. Let's move on to some NCAA. And because we're from New England, we cover the New England teams. We're going to talk about the Uconn Huskies football team and their new hire, and that's Jim Mora. So Mora, last coach for UCLA. He went 46-30 with his time there. He's also coached the Atlanta Falcons and the Seattle Seahawks. Can he turn around this failing football program?
Yeah, I think he can. I mean, he's a good head coach. Probably better for college than the pros. But look, he's gonna win games. He's gonna turn around this program. The only problem is UConn isn't the basketball team.
Yeah. So, but I think
but he's gonna be able to do it.
UConn needed a name. Look, he's got some cachet where he came from a big college, and then also the pros. So if players really want to get that feel, look, when they realigned and they did some stuff and the Big East kind of went away, it kind of hurt UConn football. But at least now you've got a name on top of the program that you can honestly say, look, has some experience, some knowledge, has been in the pros, so he's got some of that cachet with some of the players that he's going to try to recruit.
So this is the thing that to UConn, okay, it might not pan out the first year. They'll get some players the first year, and they'll improve. The second year is where it's going to really take its toll, because not only do you have that name, then you said, oh, well, they played a little better this year, in theory,
Yeah.
He also has NFL connections. So if there's a player that is, being courted by some mid-level teams that has potential, they may go to UConn instead because of the connections that Mora has with the NFL and, scouts that come from teams, especially if they know Mora, and most of them do.
Yeah.
And that's gonna help those players, and that is the difference maker, and why it will help UConn become a legitimate football team, because they haven't been.
Yeah, they need to hopefully. I saw some 7-30 something since they've moved out of. It's been ugly.
It's been horrible.
Let's go on to our triple play, and we're going to decide of these NBA leading scorers currently: Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Paul George. Who are we going to start? Who are we going to bench? And who are we going to cut? You're up first this week, my friend. So Durant with one R, not two R's, and Curry and George. So who are you starting? Who are you benching? Who are you cutting?
Durant is going to be my starter. Look, this has nothing to do with health. This has, if he's able to play and go like full throttle, then Durant is healthy, in my opinion. Then I'm starting Durant because he brings much to the table in all aspects of the game. Close to him is definitely Curry. I can make a point for both, because who shoots the ball better than Curry? I mean, really, not too many people.
Although Durant is actually shooting better.
Well, it's
currently from three, but
yeah,
from three.
Well, I'm just saying, Durant does everything, and Curry, he's a pure shooter, and when those players are on, there's no one better. Paul George, I'm sorry, you're not either of them. So I'm cutting you.
All right.
I'm cutting you.
All right. So I always back it up with my numbers, but Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Steph Curry's my starter. 27.4 points per game, 6.5 rebounds a game, 6.5 assists, shooting 38.5% from 3-point range. Yeah. If I'm getting 6.5 rebounds from my point guard, I'm taking that all day.
Well,
Kevin Durant is my bench guy. 29.5, so obviously getting the points. 7.1 rebounds, only 4.2 assists though. So Curry's getting 2 more assists a game, which he should.
Okay, well, he should.
He should.
Right.
But then you shouldn't also only be a half of rebound difference when you're a
no, and that's why the assists.
So Curry.
I give the assist advantage to Durant because he's only a couple behind a point guard. So yes, and Curry gets the advantage with the rebounds.
I think Curry gives you more. I cut Paul George, but he has very good numbers right now. 26.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but I mean realistically,
7.8 rebounds, more than any other guy, and 5.4 assists, so more than Durant.
Yeah, I'd be happy with any of these guys on my team.
Right? Yeah. Well, I mean, every time we do this, we always say at the end, right? Like, all right, we'd take any of them if you were going to give us the option. But
I'm going to go with Durant because, he can just dominate in so many ways. It's rare that you get a player like that.
Yeah. No,
and I know. And look. Do I like Steph Curry more than I like Kevin Durant? Yes. But the talent that Durant possesses.
I agree. I agree with you.
It's
I like Curry a little more.
It's like splitting hairs.
Yeah,
You know,
I
mean, it's like it was easy for the two.
Yeah,
to pick the two. Not easy to put them in their spot.
which order? Yeah.
You know,
but the pick and roll. The pick and roll is brutal.
Oh, the pick and roll. Oh, I got a surprise for you for that
every
pick
week.
And roll.
All right, let's go on to our NBA coverage, and what we're going to discuss is our local team again, and that would be the Boston Celtics. I'm going to ask a simple question: what's wrong with the Boston Celtics? That's the question.
Do you remember when Danny Ainge left his post?
Yep.
And I said, "You're getting the same thing."
Yep.
It's a car. Danny Ainge basically left his post and hired himself.
Yep.
Stevenson left his post and hired himself.
I have it exactly written the same way. That is hilarious.
You are getting a carbon copy of what the past regime was, so there is going to be no different result.
Yeah. And that's
in fact, it's ballooned now to the point where they might need to just blow this team up.
So, listen, I've said it. I think the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown experiment's done. It's not working. You're not going to win a championship with the two of them on the same team. It just doesn't work. And then I said the same thing. The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result.
This is what I'm saying.
That's what they're doing. They're doing
had this conversation with myself.
Again. Yeah, and I'm saying over and over again. Listen, they're averaging 108 points a game. They're giving up 108 points a game. They're a 500 team. They were 36-36 last season. They're going to be, the same record this year. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And then their third leading scorer last season was Kemba Walker, averaging 14.5. You bring in Dennis Schroeder, and he's averaging 5 points less. So that's your difference in the points against, points for. And you wonder why you're losing. And the fact that Ime Udoka has been the same kind of coach as Brad Stevens and really doesn't get into these guys. No. I don't get it. I don't understand what we're doing and what we expected to see. Look, we called for Danny Ainge to get fired several times in previous shows.
Yeah, but you want something different in place. Exactly. Not the same thing.
So this is what I'm saying. Brad Stevens is probably not the answer either, especially what you've seen. And I know we could say, hey, give it time. And he's freeing up some freeing up some cap room and trying to make some moves for the future. They only have so much time with these two players as it is. And Jaylen Brown, honestly, I wanted to get rid of Tatum, but at this point, Jaylen Brown just can't stay healthy. He's out again, I think, for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If you can move him now, and there's been talk like Karl Anthony Towns, get yourself a legitimate big man. I like Robert Williams, but I would take Towns over Williams any day of the week.
Well, of course.
Right? Now you partner him with Tatum, that changes your dynamic of your team. Now you're a different team, not the same team.
And Williams has played well enough that a team might be interested in him because he's young and he might develop into something better.
Absolutely.
So he's got trade value right now too. So look, there was talk about Brown being traded for Ben Simmons.
Yep.
Let's do it.
I would do it. At this point, I would do it.
And then you trade Williams and package him up. Maybe you can get Towns.
Yeah, they need to do something because I just can't keep watching. They play tonight against the Bucks. I'm not watching it. I'm not wasting my time.
Look, I just sat through Edmonton and Boston last night, and I can't sit through that again because it'll be a carbon copy. Yeah, they'll be there for 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden the roof caves in, and can't do it.
Fire Brad Stevens. We're saying it already.
I agree.
On that one now.
Clean house.
All right, face-off time, my friend. And we are going to argue, should the NFL have suspended Aaron Rodgers for his mishandling of his vaccination status? One of us has to be for them suspending him, and once we should agree that they shouldn't have suspended him. This is a hard thing to argue, especially, but you pick because you're first. Are you for or against it?
Damn it. I don't want to pick. You pick.
I'll be again. They should have suspended him.
So you're saying they should.
They should have suspended him.
Wait, why don't we have some...
Kenny
Kenny's
just
out
jumped
there.
in.
Who should argue that they should suspend him? You said yes. But we want to know who should argue yes.
Kenny. Jared Goff's not in this conversation, by the way. He'll never leave it down. It'll be yes from now. We'll still be talking about Jared Goff.
No. Goff versus Tua in the Super Bowl.
Tua was another one. Yes, Tua. He put Tua.
Come on, Kenny. Who should vote? Who should argue for him being suspended? Eric or myself? Somebody.
Luna. I know Cap took off. Snorlack, if you're still out there. Ron. So
I got to argue that he should.
He should have been suspended. Okay. So I'm going against. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I mean, personally, this is a no-brainer. Okay. It's a NFL rule, and you have to abide by it. If you break the rule, there should be a consequence. It's really all that simple. Like,
there's no rule.
It's a protocol that is a rule.
It's a protocol, but it's not a rule. It's not a rule that you have to.
But it is. So you have to follow these protocols, and that's what the deal is. You have to follow them.
Yeah, now, he was immunized.
Now, he gets a nice little comfy fine that's like fining you and me $33.80. That's fair.
$33.80. That was pretty.
No,
good.
that's what it actually comes out to. Okay. It's like fining you and me $33.80. That's the changeover.
So let me ask you this: what rule did he break, though?
He broke the protocols of what you're supposed to do with COVID, and the team broke the. Nobody's getting suspended, but that's the problem.
Well, then you can't suspend him. So the NFL did exactly what they were supposed to do.
No, they should have suspended him.
But how do you be suspended? Okay, if you set the protocols, and the protocol should have said, if you violate this, it's X amount of game suspension. It was they left it gray, and that's the NFL.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem with it all. They left it gray. So here is Tom Brady getting suspended for 4 games for football, for a little less air in the football.
Sounds
and meanwhile, he breaks the protocols for a deadly virus and gets
no protocol
and gets fined.
No suspensions. I clearly won that. Thank you again. We're moving on to our pick and roll.
Penny, who won that?
We're moving on to our. He keeps writing Ron's name. I don't think he can type anything else.
So that means I won.
Yeah, you don't even know what he's typing right now.
He's typing.
He's probably putting Jared Goff down right now.
Oh, come on. See, this is why you don't get fans voting for you.
Yeah, because I speak the truth.
No, you speak nonsense.
Pick and roll. It's pick and roll time, and I'm dying to see how you pick this. So yesterday was Veterans Day, so we want to thank all the veterans out there that have given their life, that dedicate their life to serving our country. We appreciate all you do to allow us to have freedoms to be able to do stuff like we do each and every week on Sports Unfolded. So what we decided to do this week was we're going to rank these veterans. Cam Newton, he picked Cam Newton. See, he doesn't even know what he's on. We are going to rank these veterans from Major League Baseball history that have served. So these are MLB greats that were veterans and served in our country. And those 5 players are Willie Mays, Ted Williams, Frank Robinson, Joe DiMaggio, and Yogi Berra. So 5 phenomenal baseball players. All were veterans, served our country, and obviously were phenomenal baseball players. So we're going to just rank their performances as Major League Baseball players.
Oh.
How are you going to rank them?
So let me go first.
You're first this week. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so at number 5, I have Yogi Berra because he was a second seaman.
Are you seriously going to grade them on the military ranks? Because I'm not doing this with you.
Number 4, I have Joe DiMaggio. He made sergeant.
Okay.
In the Army.
I'm not doing this with you.
Number 3,
what we're doing.
Willie Mays, because he made sergeant, but again, he was African American, so it's a lot harder for an African American to go up the ranks. So I gave him the nod.
All right.
Number 2, I have Frank Robinson, because he was a second lieutenant. Second lieutenant.
Great.
And number 1, I have Ted Williams, because he made captain.
Wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, he served twice.
Okay. Twice.
But do you want the actual baseball?
I mean, sure. Go ahead. Baseball. Go.
All right. Baseball, Yogi Berra. I mean, that was an easy one. That was an easy one. It gets really difficult from here. So 4, I put Frank Robinson, which was not an easy thing to do. It was between him and number 4, Joe DiMaggio. I think because Joe played less, I gave him a better ranking. Number 2, Ted Williams. It pains me to put Ted there. Like, Ted Williams was one of the best of all time.
In Boston, yes.
He was just a great hitter.
Yep.
A great hitter.
Phenomenal.
And number 1, I couldn't deny Willie Mays, because I think he's easily one of the top 2 players of all time.
Right, his numbers are ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
So we actually were pretty close. I had Berra at 5, and I agree with you. The funny thing is, we usually judge these things by championships, and the top 2 guys won the most championships, and yet what I did was I ranked it more by the actual numbers. So Yogi Berra won 10 World Series championships, the most out of this list. He's my 5. At 4, Joe DiMaggio, who won 9. And I still, again, right? But I went Frank Robinson at 3, and he had a triple crown, 2 World Series, 14 All-Stars. But, I mean, just the hits alone. But his batting average, 294, the lowest on this list. Oh, actually, behind Yogi Berra. Ted Williams, I went 2. And that 344 was what I was debating, man. His batting average, 344.
It's ridiculous. Unreal. It's ridiculous.
2-time Triple Crown, and you know how I love the Triple Crown for hitters.
I know.
So 2-time Triple Crown, 19-time All-Star, very tough. But I agree with you. Willie Mays, those numbers, 24-time All-Star, 12 Golden Gloves.
See, now that is the thing.
Right, 12 Gold Gloves.
Yeah, like if you put all those hits and homers and all that stuff aside,
defensively, he was one of the best.
12 Gold Gloves. I probably still would have put him ahead of Yogi Berra.
Yeah. Like wow. I mean, Willie Mays, number 1. We both had it, but again, very close. Again, want to thank.
And like you had Joe DiMaggio as number 4, and I had Frank as number 4. Yeah, and it's like I didn't know where to put them there.
Yeah.
And that was a tough one for me, because I know Joe DiMaggio could have had more if he would have played longer.
Yeah. Pick and rolls are always fun. I love these.
I love the pick and roll.
Pick and roll. Once again, if you enjoy what you're seeing, watch us live every Friday night at 6 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter live now. We're doing so many different things. Follow us, Rhode Island Broadcasting, Rhode Island _broadcasting for Twitch, social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports _Unfolded on Instagram, Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify for all our podcasts. If you subscribe to us on Twitch, you can win a free keychain of
your team
or gaming or whatever you want. So we've got a ton of them. We already got 1 subscribed today, so we appreciate it. You guys have been great that are out there. Kenny is also one of our co-hosts as well. He jumps on every so often for Sports Unfolded, a lot of our NFL stuff in our NBA. So, Kenny, we appreciate you out there.
This is what Snorlax won.
Snorlax won that. We're on predictions, my friend, and you won last week, so it was a 1-0 because we only had 1 game difference.
That's like 3 weeks in a row.
That is. You're killing it right now. We're going to start off with the Cleveland Browns at the New England Patriots.
Cleveland Browns and New England Patriots. Well, I'm going to take the Patriots. I'm not convinced that Cleveland can win this game.
I'm going Cleveland. And I'm going Cleveland because New England just doesn't play well at home. And I think the fact is that defense. And it pains me because I hate going against New England. I love winning things. Yes, you're awesome, bro. Kansas City at the Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh, I'm going Kansas City. I think they're just going to start cranking it up.
Yep, that's the
And
turnaround. I think this is the turnaround.
yeah, I think so too.
Let's NBA action 11-13. We got Miami Heat at the Utah Jazz.
This is an interesting one because I'm generally not that high on Utah Jazz, and I like the Heat team, but they are playing in Utah, and I'm gonna go home team with the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. Utah, I think at home. Miami sometimes hit or miss. As good as they're playing, they just seem like they're off a little bit on a couple of games. 11-16, Golden State Warriors at Brooklyn Nets. Might be a final preview.
Wow, this is so tough because I know I just took Durant over
Curry. But overall team is the Warriors are much better right now.
I know. I'm going to go Brooklyn.
You're killing me. I'm going Brooklyn as well. I just think that they've got something to prove.
You were trying to egg me on to go Warriors. That's what you were doing.
I was. NHL. Florida Panthers at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay's starting to turn it around a little bit. Panthers are still one of the best teams in the league.
I'm going Panthers.
I'm going Lightning.
I'm riding the Panthers.
All right, I'm going Lightning. I just think that they're starting to figure it out. They're 6-3 now. Starting to figure it out.
Best goalie in the league, too.
Edmonton Oilers at the St. Louis Blues. So both of these teams are in their spots until the top 5 currently.
I watched them just destroy the Bruins in the third period. It was a close game until the third period started, and Edmonton just has so much talent. There's no way St. Louis stops them because I think St. Louis has a lot of the defensive aspects as the Bruins have. They're not going to be able to cover that team in the middle, and the Bruins had all kinds of problems with that last night because they're going to have speed on Connor McDavid, and last night they put Carlo to be in charge of that. Carlo cannot keep up with him, and they're going to have the same problem as the Bruins. So I'm going Oilers.
I'm going Oilers as well. And then we're going to little soccer. We said we throw some soccer in for all our UK, and I know this is not what they want, but we're going to go USA versus Mexico tonight, the FIFA World Cup qualifying. Who wins it, Ron?
I wish it was women because the U.S. women's team is so much better. And I really think that the women can beat the men's team. But look, I think they play well against Mexico overall throughout history. So I'm going to go USA on this.
I'm going USA.
That is tentative, though. That is
USA. I think that game's on at 9 p.m. tonight on ESPN.
I'm probably going to watch.
Check that out.
I'm probably going to fall asleep to it.
I'll end up watching a little bit of the Celtics, see that they're getting smoked, and then.
But none of our people came in and said, what they wanted to.
Yeah, so give us a team.
You got to give us what league is the most important to UK and the surrounding area.
Yep, we'll definitely check it out. All right, as we normally do, as we end our show, we do our final thoughts. And our final thoughts doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything going on in the world today. Ron, you're up first this week, my friend. Your final thought.
Last night, despite the loss, there was something wonderful that happened at the game. The Bruins and Edmonton both paid tribute to Colby Cave, who played for both teams. So past couple of years, it was Edmonton Oilers, and throughout his whole, beginning of his career was with the Bruins organization. And so his wife, who, they were married less than a year, came out to drop the ceremonial puck. And, of course, she knows Patrice Bergeron. I mean,
Yeah.
and, so they hugged. And then Connor McDavid, who obviously she knew, and they hugged and dropped the puck and all that stuff. But the big thing of it is Colby's kids. So he does a lot for charity in both places. And the Bruins last night did their 50-50 raffle that is good till Tuesday. Half the money is going to go to Colby Kids. And so the wife was on during intermission, and she's speechless on how, the both organizations have just been so generous.
Yeah.
So Connor McDavid and Draisaitl donated sticks for the Bruins auction, as well as Bergeron and Marchand sticks. Now, could you imagine how much money that those 4 sticks, you're talking 4 of the best players in the league.
In the league, yep.
That it was amazing that these two teams rallied. And it was just a touching moment. If nothing else, watch the replay of that game just for that. The intermission and the pregame.
The puck drop. No, great points. Great way for the both teams, since he played for both of them, to pick that night to do it. So that was great. I have 2 final thoughts. One's real quick, and then on a serious note. But I was a little upset with the NFL fines. So CeeDee Lamb received a $20,000 fine from the NFL for wearing his shirt untucked in a game, and Aaron Rodgers received a $14,000 fine for breaking COVID protocols. When you think about the nature and the seriousness of the two, how does one trump the other for a jersey? I didn't understand that. I think the NFL really needs to revisit how they fine and what they define as legitimate, and come up with a better system, because that made no sense to me. That CeeDee Lamb ended up with a bigger fine for that violation. But on the serious note, I did want to say Suni Lee, the Olympic gold medalist, last month was actually targeted for a racial hate crime against her. She's only 18 years old. She won gold medal for this country, and some cowards decided they were going to drive by, scream racial slurs at her, and then try to pepper spray her. Luckily, she only got it on her arm. But the fact that this country is still so broken that this would happen to an athlete who competes for our country, for our pride, it's disgraceful. I hope these individuals are found at some point and persecuted to the fullest extent, because there was no reason for it. If anything, she's more of a hero for this country, and these guys are a joke. And you're going to criticize her for being Asian American? There's something wrong with this country.
It's disgusting.
It's despicable. And she was an 18-year-old kid. You think about a teenager. It's not even like they were grown adults.
She's a hero to millions of young girls that want to aspire to be like her. And for somebody to do that is just coward. Coward. Let's see you do that to one of those boxers. Yeah.
Right. It's just, listen, they need to be found. Hopefully people that are out there know who they are, and they start to really get their due justice, because they need to understand that this behavior is not going to be acceptable. We're all Americans, and she is one of the biggest Americans because she competes for our country.
She was amazing too.
Right?
She was amazing.
They should, it's just a sad story that we continue to have. And hopefully these guys get found.
It seems like every week, Eric, we have this conversation.
Yeah. Unreal.
And I don't like it at all. And especially to someone that represented every one of us at the Olympics and wins. We're supposed to celebrate this person. No matter who it is. I don't care what color you are. Yeah, you're a hero.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing as that list that we went through on pick and roll. It doesn't matter what color you are.
No, it doesn't.
You are heroes, all of you. I
defended our
don't care
country
what
better
rank you are.
Yep. No, I agree. So once again, we want to thank all the veterans. Yesterday, Veterans Day. Wish you all well. Be safe out there. Keep defending us. We appreciate it. Those who have lost their lives, we appreciate all your services. Those family members that have to continue to live on. But thank you for them as well. Ron, great show, man. Appreciate the time. Kenny, thanks for joining. Snorlax, thanks for joining. Congratulations on that keychain. Give you information to Ron. Kate, I know you'll probably check it out later, but thank you for all your participation tonight. You guys have been great. Luna, thank you for joining. And we'll see you again next week, next Friday, 6 p.m. Sports Unfolded Live every week.
Have a good night.